Recording.
Hey everybody, welcome to a joint call with The Rock, which is led by Rebekah Bain, and then Epic Empire, which is led by myself and all these amazing, beautiful faces here. We have some amazing leaders on the call, and I'm so excited about this call. And my oven is going off because my husband's making cupcakes, so don't mind the background noise. I am so excited about this call because Rebekah, you know, she was, and if you're on the call, please go ahead and mute your line because it makes it a lot easier to communicate without noises in the background. I can't be in control of muting lines. I think you're in control of it, Rebekah. You can mute your own line if you want. So I'm excited about this call because it was really funny how God worked this whole thing out. I was a brand new Beachbody coach, and I had no clue what I was doing. My upline had no clue what she was doing. And I'm not even sure how Rebekah and I connected, but I think our moms are friends, which is really strange. And I found out that my mom's friend's daughter was also a Beachbody coach. And so we started communicating a little bit on Messenger. And I think she was a 2-star at the time. And, you know, me being this, like, I don't even think I had signed a coach yet. And I was like, I'm like so excited. How do you do it? She's a superstar in my eyes. And so I've been following her since, even when she was a 2-star. And I'm so inspired by not only her, but Team Courage, which is, you know, led by Summer Tucker, is one of my mentors. So I'm so thankful that we were able to join forces and kind of learn from each other because but everybody does something different and everybody can bring something to the table. You got a little singer in the background.
Wait.
It's okay. We're all moms. There we go. She muted her line, Angela. Angela's actually from Tommy Migrant's team, but she's adopted onto my team, so she's on that call. Anywho, moving forward. Just really quick, and I know Rebekah doesn't mind me announcing this, we have Super Saturday coming up January 10th. Please make sure you're registered for an event. I know that the DC region will be hosting a grand event. We have Tommy Migrant, Summer Tucker, and Robert Hutchins all being our guest speakers. And so it is going to be a star-studded event. We will have so much wealth of knowledge to give to you guys. So it's not just us in the DC Council teaching, but it's actually coaches who are in the Millionaires Club who have led by example. So I'm super excited for that. If you are not registered, please go get registered. If you're not going to the DC Super Saturday, go into the back office and find a Super Saturday that is close to you. There's usually one in every major city. I can tell you from experience that if you go and you've never been before, it's usually for me, it was one of those aha moments of like, oh, wow, it's just not me struggling in all this. There's people all around me, and I get encouraged, and I learn so many wonderful new things. If you have a downline, then you have to get your downline to events. It's so, so valuable. So with that being said, we're going to get started with our call. Our guest speaker is Rebekah Bain, and she's your coach. My husband is like booty dancing in the background. This is so distracting. So is my mom. All right. Stop. Because we're awful. All right. So Rebekah, let me give you some credentials on her. She's a rock star, and she is a 2-time elite coach. She is a 6-star in her original business center and a 2-star in her second CBC. And if that sounds like gibberish to you, I promise it all makes sense. And that means she's working really hard. Not only is she working really hard, but she is teaching other people how to lead their teams. So I am so excited to have you, Rebekah. I'm excited to take notes because good leaders and good learners take notes. So I'm going to pass the floor to you. And I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jatana. There's a few of you that still have your phones unmuted, so if you could mute that, I would certainly appreciate it. Thank you for that introduction. Yes, I am, first and foremost, I am a mom of 4 children. My children range in age from, let's see, I have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 19-month-old. And so over the past 3.5 years, I have built this business with little ones around my feet. And it's been such a blessing for us. My husband is a Marine. We are a military family. And as Jatana said, I'm a 6-star, 2-star, 8-star combined is what that means. And essentially what that means is I have 8 amazing leaders on my team who have realized their vision. We've connected, we've found purpose and what this business is, and they have really just made a huge impact on growing their team and growing their customer base. And it's just been a wonderful blessing to work with them. I know I see Amy is on the call. She's one of them. So has been right behind me almost from the beginning of when I started all of this, and has been a blessing just growing this with me. I've built this business slow and steady. I know that, when I look at it in hindsight and I see where I've come in 3 years, it seems like it's all happened so fast. But as you're prodding through this, and I am betting that everyone on this call feels this way, it feels like such a slow process. I don't know if you can hear my baby crying or not. My husband's trying to get him to sleep. There's nothing amazing about me. There's nothing that I have that all of you don't have within you. It's to some extent. I was a French major in college, and it took me 5 years to get through. And, I had average grades. I did okay, but, it certainly was not, rocket science. I haven't always loved people. You may not be able to tell that now because things have changed a lot. But in fact, I suffered from some serious social anxiety a lot of my college years. So thankfully that is behind me. I found this business kind of on accident, like all of us. I had no idea when I purchased Chalene Extreme from my coach, Summer Tucker, and Push Play for the very first time, that it would be something that would be the first steps to dramatically change the course of my life and my family's life. As of March of this year, we paid off all of our debt. We paid our final car payment. We have paid off over $50,000 in debt since starting this coaching opportunity 3.5 years ago. We give more, we live more than we ever have in our entire lives. And we truly owe it all to Beachbody and the amazing opportunity that it's given us. It hasn't been quick. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't come with some level of sacrifice, but it's been so worth it. And as I watch my team grow and see them realize their own dreams and hit their goals, I see them follow the same path of success. Amy is certainly an example. Again, Amy Kiner is on the call, and she is certainly an example of someone who I see following in the same kind of footsteps and, never sacrificing her family. If I could put anyone on as a setup as an example, Amy would be one of them, because she has always said, I want to be home with my kids. My kids and my family are priority, and I can't let this business take over. And if that's what's going to happen, then it's not for me. And so she literally has built this amazing business, and just, sometimes it's really been 2 hours a day. 15 hours a week has mostly been her max. So kind of got off of it on a tangent there, but it's for me, growing a team, seeing my team build and realize their dreams is the biggest just reward for what this business has to offer. There's nothing I want more than to watch each of you start to see, put dreams on paper and start to see them come to life. And I think that's going to happen for you because, of all the people who were invited on this call, you're the ones that show up. And that's how it was for me. A lot of times when Summer Tucker was doing her team calls, it was me, Summer Tucker, and her mother-in-law, 3 of us every week consistently. But the girl never gave up. She kept pushing. She would do a team call every week, regardless of who was on there. And let me tell you, it's paid off. Her team is amazing, and it's huge, and it's definitely been a trickle-down effect for her. With that said, though, it's the last month of the year, and I've set some personal goals that I'm still trying to hit, and that, and I guarantee you that all of you on this call at some point in your business have set up goals that you focus on, and you get discouraged if you don't hit it. Sometimes I get too much in my own head, and I think, what if I don't make it? Well, and then I'll set up excuses for me. Well, if I don't make it, it's no big deal. I'll set up this defense mechanism, and I'm sure many of you do the same thing. Maybe I'll succeed, maybe I won't, but when I go to bed tonight, at the end of the night, at the end of the day, on the very last day or very last minute of 2014, I'm going to be celebrating, because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, whether I hit that goal or not, I know that I am doing everything I possibly can to work towards that goal. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give in to my excuses. And that's really all you can do. Some things are completely out of your control. A customer returns something and you lose the Success Club points, or a coach just decides that this isn't for them and they drop off, and it affects, you think it affects your business, but in the long run, it's really not what it's about. And things like that will easily get in your head. And you kind of have to fight those things off, because and step back and look at the bigger picture. Hold on, I lost my spot here real quick. Hold on. Okay. So about 4 days ago, I was in this funk with my business. I know I'm probably the only one that gets in that. You guys probably never have that, but for me, I get in these funks sometimes with my business. But the truth is, if you're committed to greatness, if you're committed to building something, then you're also, just by how the world works, you're also committed to failure and disappointment. So you have to be willing to face the current situation and accept it for what it is, and kind of brainstorm to make things fall into place for you, and brainstorm to make things just make the situation better. So that's really the only difference between Detana, Summer, Lindsay Matway, the leading coach for 2013, Carl Deichler. It's really the only difference between people like us, not that I'm anywhere near Lindsay Matway or Carl Deichler, but what separates us from the rest of the world is that we've just decided that, the rest of the world, they decide, I'm just not cut out for success. This just isn't for me. Coaching isn't for me. So I'm just going to back off. Whereas the rest of us are like, oh, heck no. I said I'm going to do this, and I'm going to push through. I'm going to do it to the end. And that's really, I think, the foundation of, I don't know where I got it from, but it's not that I have any great secret or, method that I use. I think it really just comes down to being too stubborn to give up. And so when you're willing to just push through and be so stubborn that nothing's going to stop you, that's when you start to see success come into play. I know all of you have heard before that failure leads to success, and it's so, so true. One question that I get from time to time is, what is your secret? And if I had a secret, locked up in my vault, that, I'm over here like, okay, this is how I'm going to get to 7-star next. And I have my plan mapped out, and I know exactly how, if I had that, I would love, 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 love to share it with you. I do have a few things that I contribute my success to, and I am going to share them with you here. What I consider to be the contributing factors to growing my business. It's not necessarily going to be the same as what Detana may find as her, big success secret, or what Summer may find. There are a lot of coaches who are, at the top 10, especially, who are working 10 times harder, 100 times harder than what I'm doing. And they deserve every bit of recognition that they can get, because it is not easy. It is hard work. And there's a lot of disappointments. There's a lot of sacrifices. Though I truly believe MLM is multi-level marketing. That's what we are, multi-level marketing and direct sales. And though I completely believe with all my heart that it is the absolute best way to increase your income. And, many other successful leaders would agree with that. It does not come without hard work. It does not come without dedication and consistency. And if anyone has ever convinced you of that or tried to make you believe that, I want to apologize on their behalf, because it's certainly not true. This is actually leading me into what I wanted to talk about. This was a topic that I was going to share with my team this week. What happened, I checked my email the other day, and of all the junk email that I normally get, I won't call it junk email, it's very valuable email, stuff like Shalene Johnson and Danny Johnson and John Maxwell and all of these people who send amazing content that I definitely want to get and open. Just like you, I don't have time to open it, and I almost never do. I actually got one from Eric Worre, who, if you don't know him, he is the writer of Go Pro, and he's a very big network marketer. He does a lot of trainings and teachings across the country. He's very well known, very successful, and I just happened to open one of his emails. It could have been the first one I actually opened, but the headline caught my eye, and it was, let's see, it said, to be exact, okay, online idiots. So I opened the email, and there was a 5-minute video in there where he spoke about how not to be an online or MLM, online marketing, network marketing idiot. So immediately when I saw it, I thought, oh gosh, something down inside of me thought, I think that might be me. Because sometimes I'll step out and I'll try new things, and I'm worried that, I'm saying too much, or, I'm saying something that's offensive. Whereas if you know me, that's not generally the case. But there was this little tinge of doubt that went through my mind. So anyways, if you will go to YouTube and search for, I think if you just put in the search online MLM idiot, you'll probably pull it up. Anyways, his name is Eric Worre. It's Worre. And if somebody wants to type that in the chat for others to look up, you can. But it's just a 5-minute video, and I think it would be beneficial for all of you to watch and to share with your teams. The type of idiot that Eric is referring to, and I know you've probably seen this before, would be coaches, makeup reps, wrap reps, people who sell lashes, nails, all of these companies. We all have our fair share of them that will go on and kind of vomit their product all over their wall, and just really becomes obnoxious, and you don't want to hear from them. And the sad thing really is that companies aren't putting their foot down and calling on their reps to action, and teaching them that this is not proper etiquette on social media. Either that, or they're just not listening. There's a good chance that these reps just aren't being teachable. And even though, the information is out there and they're trying to teach them what to do, they're probably not listening. So, the poor etiquette I'm referring to, again, is just vomiting our product, or maybe the earning opportunity all over our Facebook wall. I've had friend requests from coaches who I didn't necessarily know, and before I would friend or accept their request, I would go look at their wall, and it was just a mess. It was one post after another of, essentially me, and my business, and what I'm doing, and what I'm earning, and the workout I'm doing, and what's on sale this week. And it makes me cringe. What ends up happening is it becomes a white noise, and people aren't going to listen to you anymore. And what's worse is, if somebody else becomes a friend of that is, let's see, so if, someone sees these boards, this one after another of these salesy type posts, and then another coach friends them, the automatic turnoff, even though they may not know anything about them, or that coach may post things and do things completely different, they're automatically turned off by the business and by this type of sales and marketing altogether. And it's kind of sad. It's giving us a bad name. So I think you all know the content I'm talking about, and some of the topics. I'm sorry, I lost my place again. See, this is why you don't prepare for team calls, Tatiana, because you know that you'll get caught up like this. So I don't want you to fear that you're posting too much. There's a few things that I'm going to help you with so that you can understand, you know, what is the right amount of content for you to be posting, you know, and it's going to be different for everybody because some of you are brand new coaches and some of you have been doing this a little bit longer, and what your market, the people who are on your friends list, what they're going to allow you to say is going to be different for everybody. So I mentioned to you in the email from Eric Worre that it immediately made me think of a post that I had started to put up just the day before I had gotten the email. And I'm not going to tell you what the content was that I was going to put up, but I had written this long message and I had a link for people to go click on and sign up. And I immediately decided that I was not going to put it up because, you know, I wasn't certain that it was coming across as being something that would be overly salesy. I'm really sorry, guys. Hold on one second. Okay.
You're fine. Girl, we all have mommy brains. It's good. That's why I'm drinking coffee.
I did. We walked in from Cub Scouts like 15 minutes, and I knew I'd set myself up for disaster, but we're good.
You're good.
So I'm going to give you a couple of tips. I have a list of do's and don'ts that I want you guys to consider when you're making posts on Facebook. Number one, do be genuine with your posts. People want to know you. Make yourself relatable to your reader. You were something or someone else before you started with Beachbody, right? You were a mom, a teacher. You are a mom, a teacher, a nurse, a writer. You might be a neat freak. You might be a wine enthusiast. You might be an emotional person, or you may have been overweight or depressed. You may be a motivational person, a sports enthusiast. There's something more to you than being a Beachbody coach. So you need to bring that back into your post and make sure that you're letting people relate to who you are as a person. I want you to make a list of 5 things that you are. What do you want people to see you as? How do you want people to know you when they come to your Facebook wall, when they come to either your fan page? Hopefully if you don't have a fan page, you're going to work on one. But when they come to your fan page, or when they are on your personal wall, what do you want them to get from you if they were to scroll through your wall? Some things that I don't want you to do. Don't just share a post and say nothing with the post. If the post is worth sharing, then add some meaning to it by sharing your personal thoughts on it, by referencing it to maybe it was a story that reminded you of something. So put that in your post. Add some emotion or character or something funny to it that's going to help people on your fan page or on your personal page relate to you. Don't talk about Beachbody coaching, workouts all of the time. Occasionally, and I do this often for myself, just go to your wall and scroll through, maybe 20 posts or so. Scroll through and see if somebody were to go to your wall, what would they see about you? Are they seeing only, before and afters and, just Beachbody related stuff? Or are they seeing your kids? Are they seeing, motivational posts? Are they seeing, tips and whatever, pictures of your family? Always be aware of what's posting, because I know for myself, often I will have like a weekend. It seems to happen on Saturday where I get all excited about the things that are going on with Beachbody, and I'll end up putting like 3 posts that day that are somehow Beachbody related, and then I'll go back and I'll take them off and save them for later. So just be aware of what the content is on your wall. I mentioned earlier that I had a few things that I attributed to my success. First and foremost, I give God 100% of the credit. When I look back on my life and how I got here, I literally just shake my head on a regular basis. And I just can't figure out how that I am worthy of all that has happened in our lives. I have no other explanation other than seeing, this somehow an orchestration of a higher power, without a doubt. I remember sitting at my desk 3 years ago when it really hit me, and it was almost exactly 3 years ago. And we lived in Rhode Island. Right now I live in Florida. And, it really hit me where I could go with this business, and I saw the potential. I didn't necessarily know how it was going to happen or what I needed to do at that. I mean, I didn't know what elite was or how to get to diamond. I didn't know all the details, but I knew that there was potential in this company, and I knew that there was a future with me, and I knew I was going to be a Beachbody coach for a really long time. And I just told God, I said, Lord, don't let me make this about me. If it ever becomes about me, please just cut me off. Please keep me humble. And I'm so thankful for this opportunity, and I just I can't say that it's been perfect. And even here recently, I've had thoughts slip into my mind where I wanted this person to make diamond, and I wanted them to go add a coach, and maybe I should just do something for them so that they can do this so I can achieve the next rank, and so I can hit elite. And I just have to step back and look at the big picture and realize that's not what it's all about. Even if it did happen that way, it's not real. It's not sincere. It's not something that they want. I have to always be aware of what my team wants, and help them achieve that. Summer Tucker says this all the time. When you help other people get what they want, you automatically get what you want. So this all comes back to, me really getting to the end of the year and getting to the end of the month, or even getting to the end of the week, and knowing that I have done my absolute best. And if my goals are achieved by then great. If not, so be it. Second, I have been absolutely consistent in this business since day one, with the exception of June 2012. That was when we moved across the country with our 3 children. We had moved from Rhode Island to Florida, and we spent a month in a rental house with none of our household goods. And I just kind of threw my hands up in the air. I was like, you know what? I can't do it this month. And I didn't. It was not a great month, but it was the one month that I just decided that I was not going to be consistent in my business. And I kind of regret it, but I'm here, right? I kept going in the end. You can't always give your absolute best, but you can give your best, in every circumstance. So it's not going to be perfect, but there's something you can do no matter what circumstance you're in that can, make your business grow, make your business move forward. Don't ever let your excuses get in the way of your goals. The 3 vital behaviors: invite, personal development, product of the product. Even on your worst days, you can pick up some good personal development audio and include that into your day, right? So, giving birth, no big deal. Strap some headphones on, listen to some personal development, boom, no excuses, right? That's not what I did when I was giving birth. There are really very few excuses why you can't get a little PB in. I love listening to car audio. I put the National Wake Up Call on podcast and make sure that I have that available at all times. The third thing is spouse support. Don't get discouraged if you don't have the support of your spouse. But for me, Matt has been such an incredible figure of confidence. He's built my confidence. In the beginning, it wasn't so much that he was confident in the business. In fact, it was quite the opposite. I remember him being a skeptic, much like most of your spouses probably are or were. But he had confidence in me, and he let me do my thing, even if it meant that I, for some reason, was drawn to Facebook all the time, right? Do you guys get in trouble for being on Facebook late at night? But what he loved most about this business was that it kept me focused on fitness. And so, with 3 little ones at home, being able to focus on my health and fitness, obviously, that's going to make you a nicer person. It's going to make you more at peace with your kids and your husband. You're not going to be yelling at everyone all the time, right? So this was a bonus. If you don't have spouse support yet, don't get discouraged. Be patient. Make sure you're making time for your spouse. This is a big thing. I know a lot of coaches get into the business, get really excited, and that time is never set aside for their spouse. So set aside time for them. Make sure they know that they're important and respected, and then let them know when you have your work time set aside so that they can respect that time as well. In the meantime, find people who are going to be supportive and encouraging to you. It could be Tana. It could be somebody on this call. There's coaches. It doesn't have to be on your team. It can be cross-line. Find somebody that's going to encourage and motivate you when you start to get into those slumps. Thank you guys so much for having me on this call. Jatina, you really have been such an inspiration for me. When I met you, like you said, I don't remember what I was at the time, but I just saw such a fire and a motivation in you, and I feel like I've kind of watched you grow over the past year and a half, and it's been insane. I mean, you're right there with me now, girl. It's crazy. But you're doing an amazing job. Your team loves you. I know you've had those moments when you felt the lack of support, but it never stopped you. And to me, that's just the coolest thing ever. You're the kind of person I would love to have like 100 of on my team. You went out and made your presence known. You asked and asked until someone was willing to take you under their wings. And having you in the group with us in Summer's leader group has been helpful to me. I take stuff that you put out there and I bring it to my team. And so now watching you lead your team in your Super Saturdays and making it to the top on the leaderboards, crazy cool. It's just so encouraging and motivating to see you soar and be willing to put yourself out there and show your team how to do the same thing and offer them the tools that allow them to be to do the same. So thank you for your leadership. We're definitely blessed to have you.
Oh, thank you, Rebekah, and thank you for sharing with us. I wanted to tell you some things that I took away because I think I want to highlight them because I think they were great. I talk to my team sometimes. I'm terrible at personal development. Terrible. I hate to read. I think I read cliff notes all through college. So that's really hard for me. So what I do and what I cling to is the National Coach Call. Somebody's not muted and it's really hard to hear. But I listen to the National Coach Call on my earbuds when I'm driving my kids to preschool, anytime. So if you guys are struggling with personal development, I'm telling you it's key to the business. But if you need one starting point, get on the National Coach Call because it will give you a lot of information that some successful coaches are doing. So I agree with you 100% there. Other one that I loved, posting on Facebook. Be genuine. Don't just post, like you said, sharing somebody. Okay, so say you see a fun John C. Maxwell quote, right? And you share it on your wall. Put something thought-provoking, something that you would want to respond to if you were to see it. And that's how I filter, or I try to filter. I'm not best at it. I try to filter every time I post on Facebook. Would I either laugh? Would I smile? Would I comment? Would I like? What would I do if I were to read this post? And if I wouldn't react in any way, then I need to reevaluate what I'm posting. And so you're so right with the do's that you have to be genuine in your post. You have to make them thought-provoking, that you've got to ask questions. You've got to give insight into why you wanted to post that. And I can guarantee that somebody in your audience that probably you want to attract will be attracted to that and want to interact with it. And that Facebook engagement is so key in this business. What was there was one other thing that I absolutely loved. I wrote a bunch of notes here. Hold on. Don't share posts.
It was the part where I buried my face in my hands, I think.
No, that's me on my call. Like every time, I'm like, wait, what was I saying? Overall, I love what you said. I'm going to go back and listen to, like you said, Eric War, MLM online idiot or something like that. I'm curious to what other YouTube videos will pop up when I type that in, but it should be quite humorous. So thank you so much, Rebekah, for sharing your heart. And I do have one more question for you. I have some people on my team that are growing this business for many reasons outside of just working out, inspiring others, but to also grow so they can add an extra income to their family and possibly, like Summer, bring her husband home from working in the military. So share with us a little bit about your income, where it's gone, and where it was, and where it's gone now.
It was at 0, and now it's really high.
I know it's such an awkward question, but I think for people like me, if I were to hear it as a beginner, it would make me hopeful that there is hope beyond the $14 or $70 paycheck a week.
Yeah, well, if you look at the numbers from when I started, from like the first 3 or 4 months, it was like $0, $34, 0, and this was before challenge packs too. So it was, I don't even know how we did it back then. But then it was like $00, $100, 0, you know, and so it was a lot of fluctuation for me, and I didn't build consistency right away with an income. But in the 3.5 years that I've been doing this, again, as I've built my team and found those strong leaders, it's not that you necessarily hit a 3.5 mark or a time period. It's finding those people who are so fired up and want to just run with you no matter what, who don't give up, who don't throw in the towel. Those are the people that help you build your business and build your income and build your team and build your customer base. But I'm currently making about $20,000 a month. So I've watched my income grow from, I think the first year was just some change, like maybe $20,000, and then it went up to I might be getting the numbers wrong a little bit, but $75,000 for the next year, and then the third year was the first year I hit my 6 figures. But just like I said, as you find those people on your team who want to grow and expand with you, I remember when I was listening to one of Summer's calls, and I think this was one of the trigger points that made me really want to look at this from a business perspective, was when she told me she was making about 50% of what her husband made. And in the military, we kind of know it. It's not a secret. You can go onto a website and find out what different ranks make. So I knew what her husband made, and I thought, no way is she sitting at home making this much money, you know. But yeah, that was something that definitely sparked my interest. And as I said, I am a mom of 4. My family absolutely comes first. Even if I didn't want them to come first, they're always there. There's like, no, I can't sit down and like respond to an email ever. I mean, the 3 oldest ones are in school, but the 19-month-old is here with me. So, you know, I work about 20 hours a week, never more than that. I just can't, there's no way. So yeah, that's it.
And I think it gives hope to a lot of us mamas, because that's one of the things that I hear. Not that it's an excuse, but it's just a way that you have to start structuring your day around, you know, your priorities, which is your family and your children and your husband, and learning how to be a full-time coach and part-time hours. So, and I know that sounds like an odd mixture, but it's true. You know, you're online all the time, but there's ways to do it where you're not online all the time.
Right.
And being at events, Rebekah was at our Super Saturday with a baby on her hip. And I don't even know if were your other kids there. I think
I had one other with me.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Robert has gone with me to like 5 Beachbody events, two or three Super Saturday, 2 Super Saturday, or 2 summits, and all my Super Saturdays. So yeah, they are a part of my business. When we travel, they go with us.
Yeah, and I think were you on the cruise? No, you were on the cruise with your kids too.
I was on the cruise with one of them. Yeah, the baby came with me.
Very nice. Well, thank you
so much. Mexico with us.
What? Oh, they're going to Mexico with you? Oh, we're leaving ours at home. We're taking a vacation. No, thank you so much, Rebekah. I know you guys have families and husbands to snuggle up with, so I'm going to let you guys go. But thank you so much for sharing with us tonight.
All right. Thanks for having me. Have a good night, guys.
Recording.